Hello, everyone. Good morning, evening, afternoon, day. Good day. Um, Today feels not weird, but interesting. Um, it doesn't feel quiet, and it doesn't sound like anything is missing, but it does kind of sort of feel like, I don't know. There's a lot of feelings today. Maybe we'll get like a Seven of Cups. So I've been journaling lately. I got one of my best friends sent me this super cute journal and some other stuff as a graduation gift. Um, and it's a one line journal, so it's like every day you write one line. And so, hey Zelda. Oh wait, hold up. I gotta get my glasses. Yeah, yesterday, like, what? Oh, sorry to hear it. Yeah, yesterday my chat was like super laggy, or it stopped scrolling. Maybe it's a difficult time or something. Excuse me. But I hope you're well besides. Um, what was I saying? I don't remember. I don't know. It feels weird today. I guess some of the feelings. So the first felt like amazing. I don't know why. It was just a really good day. Um, it kind of sort of feels like a tension is building, like something is about to happen, but it hasn't happened yet. Maybe it's one of those like any day now types of feelings. Maybe not. I don't know. I was gonna look at the transits, but I was like, why would I do that? Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. And I wasn't gonna do this today. I was like, oh, I'll just stop and then come back. And then I was like, I'll do it. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. Let's just get into this. So the card today is Judgment. Wow. Well, I'm actually gonna read Judgment in this book. And that's not something that I'm explicitly not doing. Thanks, Zelda. I appreciate it. And in this judgment card, it's like there are two mirrors, and then there's a valley in between them. So it carries this energy of like, if this does involve more than you, it's everyone, every party being in a space of self reflection. Because the only way to meet in the middle in this situation is to conquer the self. And in this deck in particular, for me, it carries a very heavy hermit energy because the hermit is like one person standing in front of their own mirror. And now we have two mirrors with this distance in between them. There's also an energy of magnification, which I want to say I feel like I was feeling, but I don't know why I would have been feeling it. But I'm going to read it in the book. Are these going to be good enough? Hey, yeah, open right to the world. I'm just gonna grab the other ones. I don't feel like struggling today. Like I could do it, Oh, did that just move? If I just moved the camera, I'm so sorry. 'Cause it takes. Oh, well, yeah, it did. Oh, goodness. Oh, well, it's going to stay like that. So, judgment is absolution, evaluation, and reflection. And this is Pluto. Pluto is in Capricorn, doing this Plutonian thing. Prioritize reflection and self evaluation as you need time to regenerate. You've reached a checkpoint where you are ready to assess your life and release old wounds. Quiet contemplation can lead to an awakening that you are ready to change aspects of your life for the better. You'll be able to recognize patterns in the past that may have served you then, but no longer serve you now. Authenticity has become important to you, and you want to live your life aligned with your inner spirit and your truest self. You've learned from the past and are ready to carry those lessons into the future with experience and wisdom. Trust your judgment. You'll make your decisions based on a perfect blend of intuition and intellect, enhanced by your library of lessons learned from past experiences. And so that's why there's like a heavy hermit energy in this one, because that's like, and then it's funny because yesterday it was all about contextualizing certain situations and decontextualizing other situations. So it's putting us in this point where, and I feel like I mentioned it yesterday. I don't know if it was here on the other channel, but it was this feeling of like things coming back to like remind you. Well, that's been a thing lately in general. It's things coming back to kind of sort of remind you of how far you've come, or they're coming back so that you can revisit them from the space that you're in now rather than the space that you were in when you were first there. And for me personally, again, it's me, or what was the theme for me was like decisions and choices and ways of being when it comes to people and my immediate environment who aren't necessarily like within my inner circle. So like acquaintances, coworkers, some friends, like a little bit more on the outside. Um, and honestly, for me, it was a lot of the decisions that I made to not get to know people, or the like what connected me to certain people that are most like honestly they're not, that's not where I am anymore. I wouldn't make those same choices and decisions. And so I don't like, I didn't necessarily take it as like, oh my gosh, the past is coming back and it's terrible. But it's just like that's not who I am anymore. Like I've healed from all of the things that led me to make those choices and decisions. And so maybe that's kind of sort of where this like there's an energy of like nearing a climax. There's like this any day now. Lessons have been learned, things have been set forth, and honestly, it feels like a time for me to really step forward and be more of who I am, and to really stand in a space of strength and power. Because while I have learned to get more comfortable, I guess, with my voice since last year, that's only a piece and fragment of like what I have to do or who I am or whatever, right? And so again, with this judgment energy, if this does involve anybody else, that saying like self-evaluation and like recontextualizing the past or contextualizing the past as the past, what the present is now, and the future we're still creating, like that would have had to be done on multiple sides. I'll be right back, y'all. 1 second. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I thought I might have had something delivered, but that was not the case. And then my dad's talking about porch pirates. I'm like, porch pirates? We got porch pirates? Okay, yeah. All right, so um, this so there's an energy of Pluto here, and Pluto is still in Capricorn. Now, it feels like now, because at first I was like, oh, Pluto's gonna be so lonely, but it felt like Pluto in Capricorn now is gonna be able to do what it needs to do. And like when all the other planets were like transiting Pluto, it was collaborating. And it has been a time, like the thing about some of these transits, or the thing with Pluto, I guess, because we have the social planets, the outer planets, the generational planets, the ones that are further out, that like will transit in energy for years. And then we had the more personal ones as well. The faster ones like Mercury, Venus is faster. Maybe Mars. Mars is like in between. And so at the same time, we were going through this grand collective transformation. Personal transformation also needed to take place. And I feel like with so much stuff happening on the outside, maybe a lot of us didn't necessarily have the opportunity to do some of the inside things that could have surfaced also at that time. And so with this judgment energy, because there's two mirrors here, so even if it's a job, even if it's like whatever it is, if you are seeking anything outside of yourself, or if you're wanting to welcome in anything, this, like, it's always a vibrational match, but if you want something higher, it's going to require some of that personal transformation having been done. And it should be reflected on the other side. And if it's not reflected on the other side, it shouldn't affect you still sitting in that space. Right? These are things that are individually anchored, not dependent upon each other. And it's not that they don't work better together, and it's not that there's like a lack of synergy, but it's like you should be solid enough within yourself that you can get some of those higher aspects out of the situation. Right? Because it's like when you're not covering each other's bases, then you can focus on building. And I feel like that's where a lot of energies are starting to shift. And some things that aren't on solid ground may be swallowed by the earth as it shakes and quakes. But that's what Pluto, like, and all those other planets was trying to, not trying, but that's what it could have given us the opportunity to do, is to get more solid within ourselves. And from that space and from that place, now we're making choices. Now we're making decisions. So insert a lover's energy. So now we're creating these cooperative moments that reflect that higher elevation of resonance, I guess. And it doesn't necessarily make anything easier. but it gives you the capacity and the capability to be more present, and to be more present to a higher degree. It gives you the capacity to decontextualize, contextualize, and recontextualize as needed in that moment. And it also puts you in this space. I don't know what I don't know what energy that is. Like, I don't have a card or a sign or a planet to put on that. I mean, I guess it would be a sun. It would be a star. It puts you in a solar energy. No, well, it's like a whole solar system, honestly. It's like it turns your birth chart into the constellation of you. And not a constellation of you in the sense of like, these are these other things. Like, it's like this energy where you can be anything. And so while there is like a central solar energy, the sun is the sun is the sun all day long. It doesn't necessarily present anything else. But the other planets that will come in and that will reflect that light, or that will shine in the sky, that will make themselves visible, like, it'll be a mixture of those that you end up embodying. And that's why it's like a whole solar system of you, or a whole constellation of you. And what it does is it like it puts you in a space to, like when I was talking about fractalizing yourself instead of being fragmented, it's like that energy where you can be the better combination of aspects of yourself in whatever moment requires it. So like if you're creative, you can be more creative, but if you have to be like creative executive, then, or like if you're a creative executive and you need to be a little bit more executive sometimes, then like you'll still maintain that creative element, or a piece of that creative element, to maintain the integrity of whatever it is that you created. But then you come into more of a discerning element, you come into more of a like a critical, prudent element, you come into more of a maybe a business savvy element, maybe you come into a more negotiative element as you're shifting into the executive side. Will do, Zelda. And so what it does is it's like it puts you in a space to be the best you, or the better you, in any situation. And if this internal reflection and stuff hasn't been done, then what happens is there are some things that are closer to the core of who you are. And so now we're pulling out the hermit energy of this card. Those things that you would only find when you go deep within yourself, and when you face the darkness, and when you face what's scary. And then you find a way to turn some of those things into strength. It's like you, it's like when they like defang snakes or something, because it's like there are certain teeth that are connected to the venomous glands, and if they remove those, then the snake can't inject the venom anymore. It's like it takes the poison out of it. It makes it less toxic, and so you still have it there, but it's not toxic, and then you can like put it to good use or something like that. Like some of those parts of yourself are distorted and shrouded and hidden in whatever ways, and some of those you're going to need moving forward. And there's also this energy, it's like telescopic between these two mirrors. And I got my little telescope right here. I saw on Twitter it was like Uranus is between the moon and Mars, and you'll need some binoculars or a telescope to see it. So I took my little telescope outside. Well, first of all, on the side of the house, the moon was too low in the sky that like when I got down on the telescope, like my neighbor's house was in the way. And then I took it on the porch and I couldn't even find the moon. I'm like, does this thing even work? And I was like, I've used this before, and then I thought back and I was like, wait, well my dad is the one who always set it up. And then I would just look in it after it was already set up. So I was like, oh well. It didn't stop me from trying the next night, but I didn't get it. And then I told him about it, and he was like, "Oh, like we'll have to go out there later." Now the first time it was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and he was asleep, so that's why I didn't wake him up. But oh, I can't use this deck. Oh, it's fine. I could use that one. I'm actually gonna use that one. I could extend these. Oh my gosh, I might start doing that. Just like stopping it and then starting again just to keep the original shorter. But I guess like folks could always watch as long as they can tolerate. Oops. And then just I don't know. Oh, I have the Witch's Tarot too, but I'm gonna use this one. So I'm gonna look and see. Oh man. Okay. I am actually going to end this here. I'm gonna end this one here, and then I'll come back and I'll use the SKT like I did last time. And I'm going to look between the Ten of Wands and oh, I was thinking Ten of Wands, Ten of Cups. But oops, oh my gosh, did I just move that again? Oh gosh. Now y'all can hear how clumsy I am. Oh, it shifted back a little bit. I don't know what I'm going to go looking for, but I'm going to end this one here. And I'm going to go looking for a Wands card and a Cups card. I don't know if it'll be the 10 of Cups, 10 of Wands, or if it'll be the King of Cups, King of Wands. Because there's this energy here between the soul and the essence. And so there's this energy between all of who we are and who we are in a moment. And it's like if you think of like a hologram or something, but it's a layered hologram. It's a layered hologram, but it projects a flat image. So it's a projector. It's not a hologram, it's a projector. So if you think of a projector and how you can layer multiple things on top, but it's still projected as one image, just like when you watch a movie, right? Everything that's being filmed isn't flat, but on the screen, it's all one flat surface. And so it's like there are these different aspects, these different layers as we're projected out that form the image of who we are. And it's like on one of these sides is us, would be the soul. In the middle is all of those different aspects and components. So as we're projected through that, we pick up certain aspects and components, and then on the other side, it's like what people see as us. It's like us in the real world, right? As everything that, stuck to what was pushed through. There's a mirroring energy in this Judgment card. Which means that one thing is reflective of another thing. Let's look at Pluto. I'll read the Sabian cross for where Pluto is. I wonder how Aki is. I should send him a message. I should send him a message. Oh yeah. I was like, I'm like, wait, what am I doing? Where did those glasses go? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Am I sitting on them? Whew, okay, I'm not sitting on them. I don't know where they went. Oh, they're literally right here. Okay. So before I go, we're gonna look at this. The moon is in Scorpio right now. Ooh. Pluto is 25 degrees Capricorn. No, okay. I was like, do I got anything 25 degrees? Oh, it's about to trine my moon. I think while Pluto is like, while America is going through its Pluto return, it's going to be trining my moon in Taurus. Which I kind of sort of already feel, honestly. But when you handle things, then they go through a. It's like Pluto is one of. It has two energies. It has a few energies. Um, Abundance, material wealth is ruled by Pluto. Because all of the precious gems, ores, and minerals and oil and things like that, it's all underground. It's all in the domain of Pluto. So Pluto actually rules abundance. Um, and then it rules the underworld in the sense of death and rebirth. And also it rules just like transformation in general, since that's the process of going from death to, or going from life to death to rebirth back into life. Um, And I haven't heard too many people say, like, well, if you're looking for abundance in your chart, look and see how Pluto is aspected. I'm sure there's somebody out there. Um, but like with this Plutonian judgment energy, that's either going to be a death transformation or it's going to be a rebirth. And you only hit rebirth if you've already done the death. And that's what we've had the opportunity to do within our own lives, is to be transformed. And then if you were, then hey, you get the rebirth. The rebirth. Excuse me. So we're looking at 25 degrees, 25 to 26 degrees of cardinal energy. Excuse me. So, Aries is a man possessed of more gifts than he can hold. Cancer is contentment and happiness and luxury, people reading on Davenports. Libra is an eagle and a large white dove turning into each other. And then Capricorn is a water sprite. An eagle and a large white dove turning into each other. Like turning to face each other? Or like shifting into each other? I mean, I'm talking about transformation. So. Well, a dove, that's the symbol for peace. A large white dove, that's a lot of peace. An eagle is like a divine messenger. Love that. So Capricorn symbol, water sprite, is a general term for an elemental spirit associated with water, and differ from corporeal beings such as selkies and mermaids, as they are not purely physical and are more akin to local deities than animals. They are mostly harmless unless threatened, from Sprite Folklore 2019. The idea in many countries of water bodies and all of nature having spirits instills respect for the water body, being that spirit's home and under its care and protection. Aries man has an abundance of resources at his disposal, which we assume makes his life very easy. The ability to choose and no fear about wasting potential, because life will tell you what skills it needs you to use. While juggling these gifts requires skill, this symbol brings to mind the adage that it's better to look at it than look for it, to allay concerns about having too much. The theme of this, sorry, oop, too many pages. The theme of this cross is in Cancer's symbol of contentment and happiness. Aries has too many gifts. Aries has many gifts. Cancer's readers are relaxed. Libra's birds of spirit, eagle, and peace, dove, are merged and interchangeable with each other. Capricorn's water sprite is at home in the water. Personal resources, Aries, physical comfort, Cancer, spiritual peace, Libra, and a sense of feeling at home where you belong, or magic, Capricorn, all help us find ease in life. What ease have you gained right now? Oh, okay. So I feel like, because I know last time I read zodiac signs, it felt like Capricorn was about to get a lot more watery. Like Capricorn is a sea goat, and I feel like a lot of times we sort of look at Capricorn energy, or a lot of times I've seen someone look at or talk about Capricorn energy. It's the goat part, and it's like now we're about to discover what that sea part is all about. And the water sprite is here. And it's talked about water bodies being emotional bodies, but also spiritual bodies in general. So there's an emphasis here on all bodies except for the physical body. And my approach to earth energy is that earth is the final element. So if all other bodies are aligned, the physical body will also come into alignment. The more that I mentally, emotionally, and spiritually matured and started taking care of myself, for me, things in my physical body just started shifting on their own. Some people take a physical to like mental approach, right? Like for some people, the endorphins from working out helps them combat like depression and other things like that. And so they do like a physical to mental approach. But for me, it was very like mental, emotional, spiritual to then physical. And but something in here is not, it's non-corporeal. And so water sprites, it also gives me this image of like only those who are pure of heart can see them or something like that. Since they're non-corporeal, not everyone can see the water sprite, or not everyone like necessarily feels the presence of that water sprite. And so Pluto and Capricorn is the perfect energy for getting us to rediscover whatever like innocence that we may have lost. Because like Capricorn is like root energy, it's the foundation, and it's kind of sort of beneath the foundation because Capricorn's not going to build a foundation anywhere that's not suitable to maintain the foundation or what's going to be built upon that foundation. So it's the environment around it as well. And so there's this heavy root chakra energy with Pluto sitting down there. I was just talking about ruler of the underworld, everything that lies beneath the surface. What more perfect energy than to go down and clean up the foundation? And there's this energy of like the things that we were tied to, we don't want to lose. And so it can be difficult, but it's an extremely beautiful energy. And those with eyes to see will see the water sprite that Pluto has been sitting in for a minute and is sitting in right now. Let's see. I want to see when Pluto's going to shift into the 26th degree. So from now ish, Pluto was like slow. So I'll do the end of February. Oops. Let's do the 20. Ain't no 29. Let's do the 27th because I don't want to do the 28th because it's my birthday. Oh, wow. So Pluto's going to be 26 degrees and 0 minutes on February 27th at 1:34 p.m. Eastern. At that time, Saturn's going to be 8 degrees Aquarius. Mercury is going to be 13 degrees Aquarius direct. Jupiter is going to be 16 degrees Aquarius. Venus and the Sun will both be in Pisces. And Mercury will be back at the 20th degree into the third decan of Pisces. Where's the moon? At this time, the moon's going to be in Virgo. So that's going to be a new moon. No, that's a full moon. Sun in Pisces, moon in Virgo. So on the full moon, with the sun being in Pisces, Venus also being in Pisces, talking about the water sprite, by the end of this month, and maybe that's like that any day now kind of energy. It's like nothing is missing. Everything is present, but it feels like there could be more. And it's like, I don't know. Now, this new moon in Virgo, full moon Virgo, why do I keep saying new moon? This full moon in Virgo could actually be on the 26th. Let me see. So it's between the 26th and the 27th. Because at roughly 1:30 Eastern on the 26th, the moon is 0 degrees. I'll just go looking for it. Why not? So at 3:18 a.m. roughly, February 27th, so early in the morning on the 27th, that's when it's going to be that full moon in Virgo. And that's everywhere US, because that would be like midnight, around midnight Pacific on the 27th. It would be in full moon Virgo. And with the sun in Pisces, that would be a time where it would be easier to see the water sprite, I feel like, because the sun, that light, that illumination is in an energy that's connected to those dreamy, beyond the veil realms. But with the moon being in Virgo, it's like, although the sun is there, if we don't have the emotional, spiritual, mental capacity, alignment to perceive of it, we're still going to miss it. It's like the sun is going to try to make it as obvious as it can. But with the moon being in Virgo, like in a Virgonian energy, everything has to be aligned in order for it to like come to fruition. Now, that energy beautifully complements the sun in Pisces, or it beautifully complements Piscean energy, because I feel like with Piscean energy, it may not necessarily be realized. Like, you can see it, you can maybe even perceive of it and think of how to like do it. But in pure Piscean energy, it's not really an energy of actualization. And with Virgo, I wouldn't say that Virgo is necessarily an energy of actualization. But between Virgo and Pisces on that polarity, that's where dreams become reality. Because it's like Virgo just makes everything, it's like Virgo line it up. It's like Virgo pitches, Pisces bats. Or sometimes, well, I guess Pisces would technically be the pitcher. And Virgo would be the bat. Well, no. They pitch for each other. It's more collaborative than that. I don't know. And also with Pluto sitting in the energy of the water sprite, that is what's heaviest on that cross. Because I don't think anything else is in Libra, Aries, or Cancer. Let's see. Aries, Eris is there, but Cancer is empty. Nothing is in Libra. So Pluto is holding that square in Capricorn. So that abundance, like that too many gifts to hold, the contentness and happiness and luxury, the eagle and the large white dove turning into each other, like tapping into all of that energy is depending on our ability to see this water sprite in Capricorn where Pluto is. So if you're on the rebirth side of that energy, it's like transcendental. I guess that's the word that pops up. Excuse me. Where'd that come from? Oh, I didn't wheeze. Oh, well, I'll wheeze at the end of that because I pushed the air out. I don't know. The temperature is dropping, and I just expected to wheeze a little bit, but I didn't. All of that is depending on our ability to see what Pluto is doing in Capricorn. And I feel like that energy, it's perfect. For me, it perfectly, like this square perfectly encapsulates what Pluto is doing in Capricorn and what we're building and what we're in the space of. Because if we can see beyond, like, I feel like we would be able to see the potential for the eagle to turn into the large white dove and vice versa. And we would see the potential to come into a space where there are more gifts than we can hold and where we're happy and content in the space of luxury. And this isn't a luxury that turns into opulence. This is sitting in and comfortably enjoying the abundance that is available to us when we act in alignment with the receiving of that abundance. And to be truly happy and content in that, it requires some of that stuff inside to be worked out. The journey through death to return to spirit. I'm about to watch that video. Or I guess I do want to record. I don't know what I'm gonna go looking for, but like that's this energy here. And like the earth is such a fixed element, but it's so malleable that just as quickly as something can happen, something else can also happen to undo it. And that's why the more watery bodies, the more fluid bodies, the other elements, it's not that they're more important, but they have a lot of pull on Earth. And it's also like, it reminds me of in the Bible when Jesus was like, if you have faith the size of the grain of a mustard seed, you could move mountains. You could speak to the mountain and it would move. But that's you interacting with the mountain, with earth, through the space of spirit. A combination of water and air. And I guess fire, if you're connected to that. Because without fire, everything is empty. It's like fire is the power. Fire is the authority behind your words and your voice. When you say it, tell somebody to move, and then they move. Like if you don't have any fire, it's like, hey, would you consider potentially, if it's not too much of a bother, shifting over a little bit if you feel like it? If you don't, that's completely fine. You know what? Never mind. Forget I said anything. Like, ain't no fire in that. You say move, and it moves. You say spin, and it spins. You say turn, and it turns. But you don't get to that level without first, like, seeing through you. Because it's like then you become the mirror internally that keeps you separate from that. I'm going to go looking for the kings. So it's going to be the Archangel of Healing and the Archangel of Glory in the SKT. And I feel like that kind of sort of fits that eagle turning into a dove, a large white dove. Who was that? Libra? Because Cancer was the luxury, and then Aries was too many gifts. All right, so that's where I'm going to end this one. I hope you have a good whatever, whenever. Zelda, I hope things improve for you. And I will catch y'all in the next one. I'm glad I ended up coming on today. I don't know. It just feels like weird. Not weird. I don't know. I can't describe it. It honestly feels like there's a space of choice. And like we've been sitting in choice for a minute. One of the things that I've really noticed within the past year, for sure, I don't know when it really started, but it was the power of choice. And when I remove certain influences from my decision making process, I have a lot more choice than I thought, than I would think that I do. And I'm not necessarily the type of person that handles choice well. Like, part of me likes knowing what to do because, like, my brain already runs in like a million different directions. And so, if it's just running in a million different directions with no direction, then it runs in a million different directions a million times fold. And I'm just like, I can't pin anything down long enough to really do it. And I want to do everything. What is this? Oh, okay. And so that's why, like, whenever I had to write an essay, if it didn't have a prompt, it would drive me crazy. Because, like, I don't know what to write about. I can write about anything. I can write about everything. I tell the teacher, like, I know that it doesn't have a prompt, but can you give me something to work with, please? I need to narrow this down because the world is infinite. And that's one of the things that I love about brains and the mental space in general, I guess. It's that, like, your mind can think of and conceive of things that are on a scale so far beyond what you are able to physically see or perceive or create. Like, you can be an individual person on the entire planet and be like nothing comparatively. But with your mind, you can envelop the entirety of the planet or the galaxy or the universe. Okay, the universe is going a little bit far, but you get where I'm going. Like, the power of the mind is so infinite compared to physical scope. And then the power of the mind added to an element of spirituality, added to the fire that is authority, that is like a true place of authority and not like hierophant, superficial, whatever. And like hierophant, superficial, whatever, it gets you places, but if we have the opportunity to go beyond, like, Pluto's only going to be in Capricorn for so long, and then it heads into Aquarius. And Speaking of, okay, I'm gonna end after this, but Judgment is here, so like we're putting a lot of hope into Aquarius, and a lot of people, not a lot of people, I've heard some people in the past, not necessarily recently, fruition, Fruition. I'm looking at the keys on my keyboard, and I see like UIO. I see the T and the R. It's like, oh, fruition, Fruition. Things coming to fruition. If it's coming to fruition, there had to be some Seven of Pentacles in there. Things don't come to fruition, like the fruit in fruition, if you didn't plant a seed and nurture it and then it grows and then whatever. Okay, anyway, sorry. Fruition is the day today. It's the energy of Pluto. It's the pomegranate. And how even in the space of death, life still finds a way. It's that Persephone energy. I've been hearing Persephone so much lately. Over the course of like, weeks. Come on, brain train, where'd you go? So as we're doing, I know I've heard some people say that like, oh, like nothing good is gonna happen until Pluto moves into Aquarius in like 2023 or whenever Pluto goes into Aquarius. But there is an energy of things that we can do now, because both Saturn and Jupiter are in Aquarius, and Jupiter in Aquarius is what's actually giving us a chance to like expand in this area. And all of these other planets are in Aquarius, so now there's personal influences. Mercury and Mercury and Venus are both in Aquarius, and those are the two closest planets to the Sun, who's now in Aquarius. And so there is a potential for, at the very least, there's a potential for the foundations to be set now, so that by the time Pluto moves into Aquarius, we come into like a boom. We come into that expansion, we come into that rebirth. But if the things that we build between now and then aren't built to last, then when Pluto moves into Aquarius, it's gonna tear everything apart. And I really feel like there's a potential, like if we do what we need to do now in these moments with this Judgment energy sort of backing me up. Well, it's coming off of the Judgment card, so then when Pluto moves into that, it brings the abundance, it brings the wealth, it brings the pomegranate, it brings Elysium, instead of it bringing us like Tartarus or however many circles of hell there are in Dante's Inferno. Like it's the afterlife. A lot of times we give it like just the underworld, but in the religion where Pluto ruled, Pluto was in charge of heaven and hell, like, and purgatory. Like everything after death is Pluto. It's not just the underworld, it's not just death, it's not just dark or whatever. Like the fields of Elysium are down there as well. And that's basically the heaven. Or their equivalent of heaven, right? And Cronus was initially thrown into Tartarus after they first overthrew the Titans, the gods. But eventually he moved into Elysium. I think he became the ruler of Elysium. And for Cronus, that makes sense, because when Cronus was where Zeus is now, that's when we were in our golden age, where there didn't need to be laws because people weren't out here acting crazy. When folks had consciences, when Jiminy Cricket was alive and well in all of us. um, but that's what it gives us like we can start now. Okay, so that's where I'm going to end this. I hope y'all have a good whatever whenever you see this, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make it even better. I'm going to be like right back so I can grab the SKT and dive into this in between Judgment space. Okay, all right. I'll catch y'all maybe tomorrow. Maybe not. You'll see me when you see me, right?
It ain't gonna be like, well, I literally just said I'm coming right back. So if you see me then I'll see you then. Bye.